Tonight, Attorney General Merrick Garland has notified Congress that Special Counsel Robert Hur has finished his investigation into President Biden's possible mishandling of classified documents. Hur's report, which we are told is now under review by the White House counsel's office for any executive privilege issues, could be released to Congress and to us, the public, by the end of this week. As you know from our coverage here, no criminal charges are expected in that case, but we could learn more about the documents that were found at President Biden's home and office from his time as VP. Here tonight, former Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe. Biden himself was interviewed by the Special Counsel's office for 2 days last fall. I believe it's over 100 aides who were also interviewed as part of this. What are you expecting to see? What are you going to be looking for in this report?
I think what we're going to see in the report, Caitlin, is a report of incredible breadth and detail. From folks that I've spoken to, there's no question that Special Counsel Hur has taken the approach of turning over every single conceivable rock, speaking to every person who might have had any exposure to the places where these documents were contained or to people who may have been involved in the decision-making process around them. So I think we're going to see a very, very detailed, granularly detailed report, but one that we know is not going to include the top line, the headline grabbing moment of recommending criminal charges.
Which is the opposite, of course, of the special counsel into Trump's mishandling of classified documents and what Jack Smith found there, and that Trump obviously was indicted on that. People will, I'm sure Republicans will certainly take parts of that report. How different are these two investigations in the sense of Trump's handling of classified documents and Biden's handling?
Well, we'll see. I mean, from what we know so far, the difference is in that crucial element of intent, right? What you had from the revelations of the search warrant and all the investigation that was done at Mar-a-Lago, we know that there is reason to believe that the special counsel has evidence of the intentional retention of national defense information. So the question is, did the special counsel Hur find similar evidence of intentional retention of materials on the part of President Biden? By the simple fact that we know he's not recommending criminal charges, the answer is likely no, he didn't find evidence of that. But he is, in almost a self-defensive way, the special counsel here is going to reveal an enormous amount of detail to kind of prove his case that there's not more to see here. We didn't find anything significant.
So we might learn more as he's explaining why there are no
I think
charges.
he's going to go really deep.
Okay.
We'll get more than we need.
Well, then we'll talk to you on Friday probably, or whenever that report comes out. This other report that I'm fascinated by that came out today is showing, it's from the U.S., and it's showing that Chinese hackers were in American infrastructure for 5 years. What does that tell you about just the fact that they had access for at least 5 years, what all they had access to, and for how long without anyone in the U.S. understanding that they did?
It tells us a lot of things. It tells us provisionally that the Chinese have upped their game in the cybersphere, right? 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, we thought about the Chinese in terms of their ability to just kind of break into systems and steal data, almost for no apparent purpose. Like, didn't even know what they were taking, just took anything they could get. Now what we're seeing is they were engaged in what is essentially operational preparation of the battlefield. In traditional military terms, that's where you go out and prepare the battle space. You build fortified positions. You prepare to be able to fight once the fighting starts. That's what the Chinese have done in these systems, these critical infrastructure systems. They've maintained positions silently and covertly for years, creating the capability to really negatively impact us in the event that hostilities start between us.
I mean, but what we're hearing from intel chiefs now is that they're already embedding themselves into this infrastructure, systems like water and electricity that you're talking about. And I think the question is, do people have an understanding of just how bad that could be and how devastating that could be if they chose to wield that power?
I think the answer to that is obviously no, right? Because a lot of the progress that the Chinese have been able to make is because many of our systems, critical infrastructure, our private sector systems, have not taken the steps they need to protect themselves from that sort of infiltration. So I think wholly no, most people are not aware of how vulnerable we are.
Andrew McCabe, as always, thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll be back in just a moment.